What do you think about Derrick Lewis fighting Francis Ngannou?
I mean, I hope it's a lot. I think it'll be a lot better than last time. Last time, I think both guys were a little bit, maybe not afraid is the wrong word, but definitely wary of the other guy's power. I think going out there this time, I think, Derrick Lewis with that uppercut knockout that he's coming off of, I think that's going to give him a lot of confidence. I mean, he's talking like, he's, supremely confident in his own abilities. Francis thinks he's God. So, and potentially rightly so. Listen, you have four guys or three guys in the heavyweight division that need to fight. You got Stipe, you got Francis, and you got Derrick Lewis, and those are really the round robin for people who need to fight. Oh, and you got John, So those are your four guys.
If he ever comes back.
And we can get into this just a little bit, but listen, I think we're kind of on the opposite side here. But I think you used to be a big John guy, and you admitted it to me off air. I'll let everyone know that you're officially no longer a John fan. Is that correct?
All right. Look, as a fighter, still a fan of John Jones, and still able to support him through like a lot of his troubles because, credit to him for being able to bounce back from all the issues that he's had outside of the octagon. But when he said that he wasn't going to fight anyone but the champion, that definitely turned me off from him a little bit because it's like, you know how this sport operates. We all know that you're John Jones and you're definitely one of the GOATs, without a doubt. He's beat some incredible fighters, and it's just tough because the normal route for anybody in this sport is you get a couple wins, then you can go on to fight for the belt. It almost seemed like they were willing to give him Stipe immediately off rip, another GOAT, like the GOAT in the heavyweight division. But he said that wasn't good enough. And that really kind of turned me off from him as a fan because, like, dude, you know how this works. Just because you've paid your dues, you also have spent a lot of time off. You do need to prove yourself to some degree. And we can't just throw you out there against a guy like Francis Ngannou for $50 million like you want. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Every day it gets more unrealistic. Credit to him for like actually putting on the weight and like looking like he could be ready to fight at this point. But that mentality of like, yeah, I'm not going to fight anyone but the champ. It's just not how this works. And he's being very unrealistic right now.
Well, yeah, but number one, in fighting, especially when you're a striker and you add weight, your body feels different. You have to recalibrate the kicks and your punches and, getting into a clinch and working on throws and takedown. You got to recalibrate all of that. And there is such a thing as ring rust, right? And he's coming up on a year, if it hasn't already been a year since he's fought. We talked about ring rust whenever people take, more than a year off. So, if you're John and you want this gigantic payday, but you have all of these question marks around you and you're supremely confident, you're as confident as you think you are, or you're as confident as you're portraying you are, as he always has, why would you not fight Stipe, take down a legend, and go, yeah, now pay me my money? It seems like a win for him. You get to take out a legend. It's not like they're throwing him to like some no-name that doesn't boost his position, boost his ego. A win over Stipe Miocic would almost definitely solidify him as one of the greatest of all time. Yeah. That's something that Daniel Cormier only did once with basically a check left hook leaving a clinch. If he could outclass Stipe on the feet at a new division in his first fight, listen, dude, he's already better than DC. In terms of that GOAT status conversation. I don't see the downside. I mean, the downside is you're going to lose, is you could lose against Stipe. But if you're going to lose against Stipe, you're probably going to lose against Francis, right? Because Stipe is not going to out-grapple you. Stipe is going to beat you on the feet. And if you let Stipe piece you up, Francis, God forbid he touches you on the chin, you're going to go down. I don't know why you don't take that fight, at least even just for yourself as a quote-unquote tune-up fight. Get used to your body. Or, maybe you take Derrick Lewis. Maybe he's a little bit less scary because he's a little bit more wild. Take Derrick Lewis. It's not like Derrick Lewis is going to out-grapple John Jones. He's got the reach advantage. Yeah. Why not take Derrick Lewis? Right. Why not say, all right, Dana, got you. How about this? I want 10. I want 50 or whatever you're going to – I want 50 for Francis. I want 10 to fight in heavyweight, but I'll make you a deal. My other contract, maybe it was 5. right? Let's meet in the middle at 7.5. I'll fight Derrick Lewis. I'll fight Stipe Miocic, whoever. I'll take that guy. You get Stipe to rematch Francis. I'll take winner. And bada boom, bada bing. Also, here's the other thing, too, is if you have Stipe take on Francis, they're not going to do a quad. So, then he can go and fight Stipe, which I think is a little bit of a better matchup for John. So, all of that being said, I really don't understand John's mentality here. The only thing that makes sense to me is John doesn't feel that he's big enough yet. So he's got to ask for this exuberant contract just to almost buy himself more time to keep getting bigger. But, I saw that picture of John. I can't remember if I sent it to you or you sent it to me. Homie looks fat. You could definitely tell he's got abs, he's got muscle under there somewhere, and I know that's what you got to do. You got to bulk, but then you got to cut. But listen, homie, they were like, oh, John looks so big. I'm like, yeah, but homie don't look good.
Yeah, and his legs still look like chicken legs.
Oh, he looks like he's wearing stilts.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's squatting or anything. It's just, he does look like he's eating a lot, so that's number one to putting on a lot of weight, as I know. But, it's tough, man. He's going to lose a lot of fans if he keeps up these antics. Me, right now, I'm very on the fence about whether or not I'm even still a fan of his anymore. And you have to be, if you're confident enough to fight Francis Ngannou, you have to be confident enough or at least willing enough to fight Stipe.
He's just being annoying.
Yeah, it's a tough look, and people are going to get tired of the antics real quick, not just the fans, but Shelby and Dana White. They're going to get sick of it pretty soon, and I think John Jones forgets the fact that this is not the John Jones Fighting League. It's the UFC, and there's people in charge of it that are not him, and he doesn't get to call every shot. If he's unhappy with it, go fight at Bellator, dude.
What did Dana say? He goes, listen, John Jones can fight Francis, or he cannot fight again. It really, listen, it's not like this is, 10 years ago where John Jones has burst on the scene and he's almost bigger than the UFC. The UFC is bigger than John Jones.
It is. For sure.
He's one of the biggest fighters in the UFC, sure. But the UFC has gotten to a point where it's the only person who's potentially bigger than the UFC is Conor.
Yeah.
And that's his marketability. It's his talking. It's kind of the whole package. If I'm John, I'm like, I just don't see the downside in taking a fight before coming up and fighting for the belt.
Yeah, he knows how this sport works, especially the UFC. You need to pay your dues in order to get that championship fight. That's how it goes. And lucky for him, he's almost been guaranteed a one-fight path to it, and that's still not good enough. So it could be RIP to John Jones in the UFC pretty soon.
I really wouldn't be that upset, especially because his last 3 fights have been less than exciting, much less than exciting.
Right, especially that one against, what's his name, Dominic Reyes. That was just, honestly, I thought he might have lost that fight on the cards.
Yes.
I don't think that he is going to come out and beat Francis right off rip if that's what he really believes. Good for him, but yeah, it's just unrealistic. He's living in dreamland right now. He's off the drugs, but he's still talking like he's on them right now. So tough luck for him. But I'm excited to see Derrick Lewis fight Francis because I feel like that's the only guy that really matches Francis in his punching power. We saw it with that takedown against Curtis Blades. We all knew that a takedown was coming at some point. I actually called Curtis Blades to win that fight because of his wrestling ability. But, Derrick Lewis is just he prepares very well for every fight. And he is going to watch that Francis fight because he's going to do a lot of film preparation for him. And I even think that Francis is potentially looking at that. We saw his wrestling is getting better. He sprawled against Stipe. And even that is just miles apart than how he's looked in the past. I feel like Francis is probably looking at Derrick Lewis and saying to himself, I can out-wrestle this guy. For Derrick Lewis's sake, I hope that happens because if he goes for a takedown and Derrick Lewis catches him with an uppercut like he did against Blades, he'll be the new champion of the heavyweight division. So I think that's definitely the fight to make, especially when you're coming off such an electric win like that. That's a highlight reel that they'll be able to play forever. And, it does boost Francis's case as well, where it's he could knock out this other beast. But imagine the moments that we have if Derrick Lewis wins that belt. I can't wait to hear some of the stuff that he's going to say about having that hardware. It's going to be absolute comedic gold in the sports world. Will help the UFC just be boosted that. Think about what this is going to do alone having Derrick Lewis in that. What's up, Chance? Having Derrick Lewis be on that main stage with Francis Ngannou, like the amount of talking that's going to go on back and forth, it's going to be so funny. I can't wait. It's going to do that much more for the UFC. So I'm super excited. I
Hey,
can't wait for that fight.
speaking of funny things that happen with the belt, see Dan Marigliotta get kicked in the balls or hitting the balls with the belt.
Yeah, poor him, man. I mean, I'd imagine he's old enough where he has kids and stuff already, but that was a hard shot. If he was a younger man, he might be in a little bit of trouble.
Anybody who didn't see it, when Dana White went to put the belt on Charles, he swung it around his waist and it just hit Dan Marigliotta, the ref, right in the plums.
Yeah, his poor family jewels, man. I felt that through the television. That was rough. But and the look on his face said it all too. I know he had to like stand in the corner and jump on his heels a little bit.